Hey, how's it going? LI Flies Mike here, and today we're going to be tying a micro surf candy. Someone asked not too long ago if I could tie a micro surf candy, and you know what? I thought it was a fun idea. I usually don't tie surf candies on this size, so it might be a great fly to tie for some smallmouth, some largemouth, maybe even some trout. Who knows? Or maybe if you got some really finicky false albacore on some really small bay anchovies. So let's get started tying some micro surf candies. Alright, we have some size 6 big game C70SDs. Again, these change, but I have quite a lot of these. They change to a different style hook and whatnot, but they're pretty similar, just different finish. Bill's body braid that we're going to be using. Monofilament thread. We have some super glue for the body braid and the eyes. Of course, as always, we have some solar res. I've been using medium for the first coat, and then thin resin for the second coat to fill in the gaps. We have some small stick-on eyes. These are 1/8 diameter, I believe. And then we're going to be using some bucktail, so we'll keep it natural, going with the traditional bucktail surf candy for these micro surf candies. We got some white, some pink for some accent, and some chartreuse. Because if it ain't chartreuse, it ain't no use. We have some Flashabou here, and then we have some lateral scale. This is some 1/32 size lateral scale. Got our Mustad big games in there, size 6. Let's start tying. We got some monofilament thread. And we'll just get a nice base of this mono thread. And now we'll take some of the Bill's body braid here. We're just going to tie some of this on there. And go ahead and wrap that on there, leaving us some room by the head. Let me adjust my thread a little bit. Tension on the bobbin. Take some bucktail here, and what I'm going to do is, with the bucktail, I'm just going to get all the shorter hairs out of there by pulling the back side. We want this to be pretty small so we can stack our hair, so we don't need to waste too much. We can go ahead and tie a little bit of white bucktail on the bottom. We might add some more. We don't want too many short hairs in there. That's one of the reasons why we stack it. A couple got away, but that's all right. We can always deal with them. Take our Flashabou here. We're just going to take a couple strands of this, and we're just going to fold it in half like so. We're just going to trim this so it sticks out just a little bit past the bucktail. Now we're going to take a little pink here. We'll take just a little bit to give us some color. And I'm going to make the bucktail on top be just a little bit longer than the bucktail on the bottom. Again, get the smaller hairs out of there. We want to make sure our bucktails spread around, so we can use our thumb here. And now we can go ahead and add some chartreuse. Got our nice chartreuse bucktail here, which is nice and vibrant. Will stick out in muddier waters. I'm going to trim this. I don't want it to be too long. Try and get that somewhat neat, but without having too much thread on there. And now this is a good time, if you'd like, you can add some accent, like some lateral scale, for instance. We have some 1/32 lateral scale and opal. So we're just going to line that up right on the middle like that. Okay, now that we've got the basis of our fly, we're going to go ahead and use a little bit of super glue here. Just a small amount. Oop. Just a small amount. Now we can take our stick-on eyes, put these on here. Now the reason I put super glue on there is sometimes these eyes lift off when you work the resin, so it's kind of just a little safe measure. Get that on there like so. Now we can go ahead and glue this. We have our medium resin to start we're going to be using. Make sure you have your UV light charged. I'm actually going to angle the fly a little bit so I can get a better angle. And I'm just going to pull that material back like so. And we're not going to use much, we're just going to use some to secure it to start. You want to keep pressure on it, and we're just going to go back slightly behind the bend of the hook, is how I do my surf candies. Now we can hit it with some light to lock it down. And now it should be holding its shape pretty well. Now you see there we have a loose hair, so what we could do is take our scissors, and now is a good chance to clean any of these up if there were any short ones or anything like that. Go ahead and hit it with another coat if we're happy with it. Again, we don't want too much resin. Just enough to get a nice coat, and then we'll slowly add more. Some of the hairs up top, for instance, here came a little loose. We can always just pull it back while we work the material, or hold the material while we work the resin, I should say. We can always add a little bit more. Again, I don't want to add too much, but I want a kind of a nice even layer. Again, pull that material tight and we can work that resin around, making sure we fill in any gaps by, if there's any thread that is exposed, we want to cover it, but we don't want any resin to get in the hook eye. We don't want any resin to get in the hook eye though, so be very careful, especially with these smaller hooks. That looks pretty good. We can always add a little, just a little bit more. Again, we don't want to add too much. I'm adding a little as we go. Just to level it out, essentially. We're just trying to level out that resin, get a nice even coat. But if you add too much, it might try and run away on you. Then you'll get an uneven shape, get some bumps and bumps. Now we can hit it with the light, pulling this hair back again. We're just going to move this fly around, making sure the light hits all over where the resin was. But we don't want the light to sit in one spot for too long. You can end up overheating the resin. It can cause yellowing, almost like how epoxy yellows over time if you're not careful. Alright, now we can go ahead and add our thin and fill in all these little gaps. Just a light amount of thin here. And if the fly isn't perfectly even and smooth, the fish won't care. But sometimes, especially me as a fly tyer, I like being confident in my flies and being happy with how they look. So there's nothing wrong with trying to get them looking pretty. And see if it's nice and even, and if we're happy with it, we can just hit it with the light. I'm going to quickly make sure that that light hits all over so that resin doesn't run. But that's also why we try and limit the amount of resin that we put on there. Otherwise it will run on you. If you're still not happy with it, you can always add some more. We'll just add a teeny bit more thin just to fill in any gaps and get that body on the one side a little bit more even. Is it necessary? Nope. But we might as well try and get it nice and even. Micro surf candy, size 6 Mustad. Nice looking fly. Now we're going to have to put it in the swim tank, I think. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I can't describe enough how amazing it is. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers. So thank you to anyone who watches the videos, subscribes, shares the videos. I appreciate it. I know it's been quite a while since I've been making as much content, so I still have been streaming on Twitch, fly tying, and I plan on streaming here on YouTube in the future, so look out for that. I got to figure out how to multi-stream because Twitch changed some things, but I've been doing a lot of commercial shell fishing the past couple years and some commercial bait fishing as well. So quite busy at the moment, but I'm trying to find a healthy mix, and I'm trying to get back into doing a lot more commercial fly tying this year, as well as making some more fly tying and fly fishing content. It's good to be back making some fly tying videos, and I plan on making quite a lot more here in the near future. So we have a herring flatwing video that's coming up next, so look forward to that. All right, hopefully you have a great season out there this year fishing, and until the next one, tight lines.